Welcome, everyone, to the Chipp Builder Series, where we get to meet those on the forefront of building the future of AI and education in this week's episode. So, we're excited to welcome our guest today from the capital of the nation to the beach of Miami. This AI educator is loving Romeo as well as her fellow learners looking to get started in AI. She makes amazing tutorial videos, which is how I found her. And she helps you get from zero to builder in no time. So let's welcome the greatest Christel since Christel. It's Christel Guillen. Welcome.
Wow, thank you. I like what you did there, adding Romeo in. That's how you know to keep my smile going the whole time. Good job.
Well, tell us about Romeo then. I guess we can start there. So,
Well, yeah, he's a lot of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Of course, my background is education and teaching, but I now have a son who's about to be 2 years old. And my plan has always been, even before I thought about having a child, that if I did, I would homeschool. So I'm
oh,
very
yeah.
much in the throes of, okay, he's going to be 2 in September. We're already doing our homeschooling, but, of course, at some point, I'm going to want to introduce him to technology and the skills that I'm learning. So yeah, he's a lot of my why, preparing myself really for him and for future generations in general.
That's amazing. Well, tell us what you are thinking now that maybe has changed from before Romeo. Because I think as a
Oh,
parent of four
wow. Yeah.
myself, you have lots of
Oh
great
my gosh,
ideas, right?
4.
And then the kids come and you say, okay, maybe it wasn't realistic, or maybe I need to do it like this.
Exactly.
So, yeah, how are you thinking about technology and education, especially for your own
Well,
son?
so much has changed. I mean, with everything that happened with lockdowns and COVID, my work changed a lot. So before then, I was consulting with schools and nonprofits, helping them with their operations and systems. And then everything changed, and now students had to be homeschooled and they had to learn remotely. So now I was being hired to help with that, and we're all kind of learning, at the same time. And with the introduction of AI to the masses and Chat GPT almost a couple years ago now, when I saw what it could do, I knew that it would completely change the future of education, especially online remote education, which everyone's having a problem with. Colleges, universities, even course creators online. The numbers of people that actually finish courses and get results is really, really low. And it's because this is a new way of learning that we need to really get good at. So I'm really passionate about getting AI into education, into homes, really just onboarding the 8 billion plus people that still need to try out AI for the first time. And the issue is that it could take years if we don't move this process along, because the number of people that actually are using AI is so tiny, and there's a lot of barriers to get it into the traditional school systems.
Yeah. And how do you combat, the Matthew effect of like those who already have resources and support can make good use of technology, whereas the mass of people who don't have that support won't realize
Yeah.
its full effects.
Well, I've kept my role as teacher, and I'm learning how to teach as publicly and broadly with as much accessibility as possible. So that's why I have really leaned into live social audio, which I discovered first on Clubhouse almost 3 years ago. And now I'm on X and I'm teaching classes pretty much every day at this point, Monday through Friday. I have my learning community. I have a newsletter I do. So I do everything I can, plus the content I create, the tutorials. I'm really a full-time, what I call an edu creator. So it's a creator that is also educating, giving information, showing people how to use the tools responsibly. People are overwhelmed with what's at their fingertips, or they don't even know where to start. So I really focus a lot on beginner friendly. That's also my specialty. I was a special education teacher. So I was classically trained in working with people of all learning styles, which, adults, children, we all have different learning styles. And that's where
Yeah.
AI is amazing, because of the opportunity to personalize education.
Yeah. So paint us the picture of, in the dream scenario where people are learning to use this, how is education going to change in your mind's eye?
If it was my dream scenario, I would make AI and these emerging technologies a requirement in every school. I would make it so that every school this summer had to stop what they were doing and spend the summer training teachers and empowering them, and not just to use the tools. But I really believe that teachers and everyone needs to learn prompt engineering, because that's the beginning of opening the door to whatever tool you put in front of you. It's one of the reasons I love Chipp AI, because it's really empowering people to learn and more advanced. I say more advanced, but it doesn't mean more difficult. It just means longer prompts, longer custom instructions. It's challenging, but learning to write prompts in that way so that teachers are building their own solutions for their students. I think about if I was a special education teacher with Chipp, and I could have made all of these custom apps for my students, for myself, for other teachers. It's not just about learning the tools, but really being empowered to build solutions with the tools. And of course, not just educators, but businesses, entrepreneurs, creators. So many people need this.
Yeah. So it sounds like if teachers did spend the summer learning, the outcome or their fall would be different because their classes would be personalized. Would there be other like big changes you would tell teachers like
I
this is why you should spend a couple hours thinking about this?
Yes. And I still have really good friends that are teaching. So they know I'm like an evangelist for this, because I know how stressful teaching can be. And I know how many amazing teachers leave the profession because of the amount of work that they have to do, the amount of planning that goes into a good instruction, or they're not doing it because they're burnt out. And so either way, the student is the one that gets that negative impact. So I really am selling it as like, get your time back, right? Automate the tasks that teachers shouldn't be doing. There's so many administrative tasks that teachers are doing that AI can not only do, but do better in many ways with the right prompting. And what it does is it allows the teacher to be the creative in the situation. And this was the fun thing about being a special education teacher. I kind of had to look at the curriculum and say, I have to find a way to totally change this and make it something that is engaging and fun. And this is what everybody, we all should be doing. I was just trained in it for this particular population of students. So yeah, it's getting time back. And with that time back, it's not that teachers are then going to go twiddle their thumbs. They're going to actually be able to be creative and create lessons and instruction and projects and all the things that they really want to do, but they don't get to because they have to be in meetings and they have to be in trainings about another tool. I have a friend who's at a school and they have 7 tools, and she says most teachers aren't using any of them. So it's a big problem. We're
Yeah.
getting it into some of the schools, but we're still not giving the proper education and training on how to use it and responsible, safe use so that teachers feel comfortable teaching students how to use it as well.
Yeah, I love that. I think, the challenge in the past was if you're going to make a textbook, the only way it makes sense is to make hundreds of thousands of them, right? So everyone gets the same thing. And I think with AI, what
Exactly.
I see is it's the reverse, right? Where everyone can create
Yep.
their own piece of software instead of everyone logging into one piece of software. And
Absolutely.
it's
Yep.
really exciting. And like you said, for those who want to be creative or even like homeschool, parents who want to do things like
Yeah.
I've written books with my kids and it's really fun and they love it.
Oh, I love
Just
that.
simple use cases, right? That's really powerful. So tell us a little bit about kind of what you have seen as some of the best ways to get started. So when you talk to your friends and you're like, here's the one thing you should build or use, what are the kind of use cases you point them to first?
Sure. Well, it's funny. I was talking to my mother about this. She's one of my students and she's getting really good with AI. She's a paralegal for an
Oh,
immigration firm. And her boss the other day, he's a partner in the firm, was like, all right, I need to know what you're using because everyone's blown away by it. But so I actually asked her this the other day because she's still a beginner, but she's not a super, super beginner. So I said, what would be the thing that you would need, the most basic thing to get started? And I love that I asked this question because I wouldn't have thought of the answer. And she's like, people need to know the actual link to use, because she was talking about how her friend was showing her how she downloaded what she thought was Chat GPT and paid for it, and it's not. And this is a big thing. I hadn't even thought of that. Sometimes when we're saying like which tool to use, we need to really give clear instruction on this is the link.
we talk to people who
Yeah. And
know
a
what
lot
we
of people don't
know. And
even know because you can search
yeah.
and you're going to get links, but you don't know that that's the right one. So, of course, once they're at the tool that they know they're supposed to be at, they're not paying for something. These tools are free. All the tools that I use are free to start. If I upgrade, it's because I choose it for my business later, but I purposely share tools that are free. So I'm like, that's the first red flag. If you're being asked to put in your credit card, But yes, beyond that, you're finding the prompt and you're really starting with the most simple prompting. And I recommend creative things. Like I think about when I started with ChatGPT, it was things like, I want to make a recipe for this meal. And now we can do things like upload a picture of the food that we want to create and say, can you give me a recipe for this? Now, can you give me the shopping list? Now, can you give me a budget? I mean, there's so much we could do, but I would say just find that prompt. The simplest definition of prompt I've heard is a set of instructions. So you're giving whichever AI you're using and then see where it goes from there. And it's really like a relationship. Over time, you start to see what the AI can do and you start giving it more tasks and giving it more responsibilities. And you're like, okay, wow, this is amazing. And just like with any other relationship, it takes time and practice and communicating, which is the great thing about AI because we can use language. So literally communicating like it's your friendly assistant that's just ready to help you.
Yeah. Our mission at Chip is AI for all, which really aligns with what you're saying because we can all speak and it doesn't even have to be in English, right? We work
Right.
with some universities and schools, and the fact that they have non-English speaking populations, this really
Yeah.
improved access for them in terms of tutor assistance. They don't have tutors that speak those languages, right? So there's lots of solutions. So tell us a little bit about what's next for you and kind of what you're trying to build towards sort of in the next sort of 6 months or something. Like, where are you trying to bring your community and maybe some of the lessons you're really trying to build out?
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed teaching AI specifically over the past year and a half is that people are really excited to learn. But where I see the challenge is actually building. So it's like
Mm,
absorb, 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 but really wanting to move my community to the next level of building. Because again, that's to me where the magic happens. When you're building your own solutions for yourself, and then you can start to sell those solutions and have your own business. Right now, we have a mission going on 1,000 new app builders. So I'm on a mission to help teach 1,000 people how to build their first app, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited about Chip because it makes it very easy for me. Again, I'm looking for tools that make my job easier. The teaching of how to use it, it's free, it's available, and there's so much more. I've been teaching these workshops. We have a summer camp coming up, my first ever summer camp here in South Florida. I'm really excited. We're teaching all ages, children, adults, how to build their first app and not just their first app, but their entire business around it. So give it a beautiful website, a marketing plan, do the whole thing. Don't just create the app, but actually turn it into something amazing. So that's the mission right now to get people to that next level of not just learning and playing around with it, but actually using it to create solutions.
I think that learn by doing is the way,
Yeah.
and there's no better time than now to start doing, right? Because it's so quick and you can just
Absolutely.
see those results and edit them on the fly. So I'm so excited. Well, I would love to have people learn more about your summer camp and connect with you. I know on X you are Christel_OCC, but tell us, where should we go to learn about summer camp and get connected to your newsletter?
Yes, the best way is to definitely join my community through the newsletter, which is AI4educreators.com.
Great.
And that link is in my bio, along with the GPT Pro Builder, which I built with Chip AI to help people create their GPTs.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, we found you through your tutorials. I think there's a lot of great stuff for people to go dig
That's
into, and we're
awesome.
so grateful to have you on. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you
Yeah,
on the
thank
internet.
you. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.